Hi, welcome to another video. Today I'm at the shop. I'm going to make the crossbow a little bit more powerful using parts of these rolled pieces that I cut off over the last week. I had to roll these. They're some kind of pipe patch and they're made of hardox 450, which is very springy, so I'm going to make a couple more springs with these cutoffs. These ones are 5 feet long. I was going to join a few in the middle to make them 10 feet long, then cut off the ends to bring them to probably one at like 9 feet, one at 8 feet, and one at 7 feet long. The reason I have to cut these off to get pieces like that is that when I roll in that roller, the ends end up a little bit flat, and then from there it starts curving. And the only reason for that is this would be upside down in the rollers, and the closer roll to me would be pressing up on this, and then the middle roll and the top will be pressing down there, and this distance that it's flat there is basically just the distance between where those rollers are touching the plate. So when it's pressing up with 2 rolls and down with the middle roll, it'll bend right where that middle roll is. And then since I can't roll that middle roll all the way to the end because it wouldn't be touching 3 rolls at that point, it always ends up with a flat. So pieces like this have to get cut long and then cut down to size afterwards, which results in a lot of waste, which I'm going to be using. Alright, I got my 3 pairs of cutoffs welded together in the middle. All that's left now is to cut them to length, and then I can go test it out. I decided to do a quick little demonstration here. I'm going to bend mild steel and the hardox plate, and I'll bend them side by side. These are the same thickness. This one's a little bit wider, but that shouldn't matter. And I'll bend them both at the same time just to demonstrate how springy the hardox is compared to just regular steel. And should be able to see the difference in how much they actually bend after I push them both down the same amount. I guess this isn't a huge difference, but still the hardox bent a lot less over that much. If I had a bigger die, it would definitely give me a better example, but I don't feel like swapping all the dies out to do a better test. It definitely bends a few degrees less, just with how springy it is. I'm back in the middle of nowhere, ready to test out my Ballista again. This here is how I have my springs set up for the last few tests. That's 3/8 inch thick spring steel that I cut at different lengths and tapered these down in hopes that it'd kind of have a smooth transition of stiffness going from the middle out to the ends. But today I'm going to test what will be just not trying to go for nice smooth transition or anything, just going for a bunch of power. And here is what I'm going to test today. This time, instead of a bunch of narrow or ones that step down quite a bit, I just have them stepping down a little bit, and they don't taper off at the ends. They're just 3 inches wide all the way. And then I will reuse this spring steel one, but these ones are made of hardox 450. So I'll get that into the Ballista and see if it'll crank back with this 3/4 ton come along. And if it does, the cable should be plenty strong because it has a working load limit of 2.5 tons. So I'll get that in and test her out. So my first impressions with the upgraded springs is that the initial draw is quite a bit stiffer. I can get it to come back about a foot, where before I could probably get close to 2 feet. So this one is definitely a lot stiffer. We'll see how it performs. Alright, as I was drawing this one back with the come along, it is a lot harder to draw back. And I'm just going to leave it set up the way it is, put the aluminum arrow in, and just see how far it can go. Alright, here we go. First shot with the upgraded springs. The trigger itself is a lot heavier because the more spring power there is on, or tension there is on the cable, the more friction there is right here between the, I guess, the sears. I'm pulling on a weird angle as well. Ooh. I might actually have to pull one of these springs out, but I can hardly pull that. So I might pull one of the springs out of the pack for the next shot, but for this one, I'm just going to give it a tap with a hammer. It should fire fine. And here we go. And here we go. And it landed way in the bush. That one flew so far. I don't know if I actually want to take a spring out of the pack because that was ridiculous. I don't think I can fire it from the shoulder though, because this 3/4 inch round bar stock I have on there, and that is solid steel, thicker than my finger, just bent from shooting that. I'm going to check the distance that arrow flew with this GPS distance meter. Lock A, and then as I walk away from it, it just tracks how far I am away. And of course, most of the snow melted everywhere other than in the bush. So I'm just about up to my knee in snow, trying to find an arrow in very dense bush. This is so cool. I just found it. It split a tree. It went through the tree and just skimmed past that one, and it was stuck in the ice. That's crazy. So I split this tree at 131 yards. Not bad. One other thing I noticed, I think the hardox is actually springier than the the spring steel based on the fact that it has a lot less of a curve in it. Like this one here, it was straight before I started shooting these, and just from shooting it a few times and pulling it back, well, it was after the first shot it bent that much, where these ones are, they have a bit of a bend close to the middle, but they're still fairly straight. So since it has way too much recoil for my shoulder, I have it set up on a couple logs here, and I'm going to try my splitting maul axe head arrow on this log. 3, 2, 1. Oh, too scary. Here it's gonna go now. Oh, right in the puddle.
Not getting that.
Alright, let's see what happened here, because that happened really fast and I could not tell. It looks like I hit either the top or the bottom of it. Of course I missed. But even after hitting that log and tumbling, that went at least 50 yards. And that arrow, I think it weighs at least 10 pounds. So that's pretty crazy. I'll have to try this thing out a bit more, but the sun's going down and I haven't ate supper yet. And of course, this thing slid off the logs, ended up on the ground. I'm gonna have to make some sort of mount where it'll hold it up and I'll be able to aim it, which I thought might be a possibility when I was first making this. I was hoping for just shoulder fired, which I guess I can do if I want to just swap out the springs, depending on whether I want to have it scary powerful or not. But anyway, thanks for watching.